Hey everybody, I hope you're doing well. I first off want to apologize that you didn't get this video before last Sunday. I apologize that you came in, we're pretty in the dark. I heard things went well overall though, and I appreciate you just flying by the seat of your pants. Let me briefly explain the structure in case you didn't catch on, and then probably some things you don't know. We are going to, at least for this semester, and then we'll do an evaluation after this semester, but for this semester, for 9th through 12th grade, we're going to break down in co-ed class groups, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. Okay? A lot of reasons for that, a few of which I'll share here. Across the board, we've really been struggling for facilitation. And I think that by breaking down in class groups, we're going to find that the kids are a whole lot more comfortable because a lot of them go to school together or they've known each other their whole lives. And I think that'll be a more natural discussion that'll take place as a result. I don't know that for sure, but I think that's what will happen. You know, especially as I observed some of the kids, as I had all the classes over my house, something happened. Man, when those classes got together, they were just chatty and talking a ton, and I think it'll help us. We'll find out. In addition to that, one of the hindrances we have is as people try to invite friends, if they try to invite a friend of the opposite sex to youth group, they have to say to them, oh, by the way, for the last 20 or 30 minutes of the night, you have to go off all by yourself with a group you never met. And it's really, I mean, I've had a number of kids in this last semester to say, Jed, that's killing me. I can't invite my friends of the opposite sex. So I think that we're going to find it easier to do that. And I'd encourage you, now that we're in class groups, to really push kids to invite their friends. I think it's going to be a very natural thing. Now, here's how the structure is broken down, and with this video, if you go back to the body of the email, if you didn't read it, you're going to see the breakdown of every class and who has what roles in that class. Okay, most of you I talked to before I put you in this role. Some of you I chose for you. And so if I put you in a role where you're like, Jed, you entirely misslotted me, just email me back and let me know, and we'll see what we can do. But there's really 3 different roles that each class is going to have provided by their leaders. One of them is facilitator, and for the most part we're always going to have the same facilitator, and every class has a facilitator that I'm going to try very hard to do a good job communicating to in the past, so they understand where I'm wanting these classes to be led as a result of the message that was taught. They're going to get questions just like always, but I'm going to try to have a one-on-one email or a one-on-one conversation as a general rule so they really know this is where I'm headed. So they'll get up with the questions, they'll facilitate. So the question is, what about the rest of the leaders? Well, feel free to jump into the discussion. Feel free, actually please jump into the discussion. Don't sit back and think the kids are the only ones that can talk. I like the idea of kind of we're in this together, adults and teenagers alike. So jump in. Feel free to throw in a question back at the group, but don't take over. Some of you have pretty strong personalities and you're not in the facilitator role. So why you should feel free to jump in with a question that you think, boy, you know, guys, what do you think about? Don't take over. We have a facilitator. Their job is to lead that discussion, and I'm going to work hard. And you know what? If it's not going well, we'll work on it, and we'll just see how things go. So this is a facilitator role. There's also someone in charge, or a couple. It can be an individual, or it might be a couple in some classes, and they're in charge of service projects. And what I'd like to see happen in this next semester is a minimum of 2 service projects that each class does. So who's ever in charge of the service projects can come talk to me, or they can think outside the box all on their own, maybe ask the class for ideas. But what they're going to do is 2 service projects for the freshmen, or 2 service projects for the juniors. They might go and serve at Faith Mission. They might go this spring to a shut-in's house and maybe do yard work for them. They might come to my house and do yard work. That's an option as well. That's a great service project, actually. That's a really good service project. But here's the thing. Paul Parsons is going to, he's kind of going to oversee all the service projects, and what I mean by that is he's not going to come to all of them, but I've asked him to play the role of following up with the people that are in charge of the service projects just to make sure they're planning stuff. Because we can't get down to the month of May and, oh yeah, we need to do 2 service projects. Some of you might choose 2 or 3 weeks from now to do it. Just launch it to the class. Let us know if you need vehicles. We'll reserve vehicles for you. Let us know if you need things coordinated. We'll coordinate things for you. But it's on you guys to come up with those ideas, pitch them to your class, and get involvement. The more ownership you get teenagers to take in that, the more that will attend and the better it will be. Do this though, take a bunch of pictures, and if you give us the pictures of that and some video, we'll make a video out of it. And one of the things I want to do is I want to say, hey guys, kind of as we're opening up a youth group or something, we could say, hey, the freshmen did this awesome thing this last week. Watch this video and see what they did. So if you'll do a good job as leaders, this is talking to you that are in charge of the service projects. So this is one of the things I'm asking you to do in addition to planning it. Either if you have a good camera or you know someone that has a decent camera, take a lot of pictures, take some video if you can, just a little bit, and we'll make a video out of that for youth group because we want to celebrate what you guys did. In addition to that, that'll cause the other class to say things like, hey, what are we doing for a service project? We want them to want to serve, and we want to celebrate when people do. Okay? 2 times in the next semester, 2 different events. Don't do the same thing twice. If you can't come up with ideas and you've launched it to your class and you guys aren't coming up with ideas, come talk to Eric, David, or I, and we'll help you brainstorm. And don't be surprised if you're in charge of those service projects and Paul Parson about 2 weeks from now or 3 weeks from now comes up to you and says, hey, what are you planning? That just means Paul's doing his job to make sure that those are being accomplished. So we have a facilitator role, we have a service project role, we also have a party role. And this could look like a lot of different things depending on the class and depending on who's in charge of it. I would like to have 2 activities over the next semester. You might plan those with the service project. You might do a service project early afternoon and that same day do a party that night, or you might not do that at all. A party could be, by the way, Greg and Kelly, I don't think I called you, but you're in charge of, that's one of your roles. So that's your role in your class, is the party people. Mostly because of you, Kelly. Greg's not that fun, but you, Kelly. Ha. Anyways, in my mind, at least, when I was thinking about you guys, I figured one of the activities you were going to do is you would just say to your class, hey, after church on Sunday night, everyone come over to our house. Mostly I thought that because of your notorious, very good homemade pizzas. And I figured you'd probably just end up making homemade pizza, and that'd be one of the activities that you guys do for the year. However, there might be another class that says, no, we're going to have an activity. And as you talk as a class, you decide that you want to go to Cedar Point. And you might postpone your second activity just into the summer. I'll let that happen. And you decide to schedule a junior class Cedar Point trip. That's okay. Just let us know. We'll reserve the vehicles. We'll make sure that you can get there. And you can plan an activity as big as Cedar Point, or it can be as small as coming to my house after Sunday night. Anything in between is great. Bowling as a class. You're going to find that when you do a class activity, you'll get very good attendance. I launch a youth activity and we'll get hardly anybody show up. I say sophomores at my house after church, and the entire sophomore class comes. There's something about that identity of inviting the individual class that causes them to jump in and participate very well. In addition, those party people, on occasion, maybe all the time if you decide to do it this way, oh, back up. Don't be afraid. Going back to Greg and Kelly, for example, don't be afraid to say sophomores are coming to my house afterwards and bring $2. If you decide, if you're in charge of any of these classes and you decide to have people over, I don't want you having to foot the bill for that. Okay, so don't be scared to say, hey, we're going to go do this, and it's going to cost this to cover all of our costs. I don't want people having to pay for that. Kids can happily and easily pay $2 or $3 or whatever. If you decide to go bowling, bring $10 for bowling. Whatever you do, don't be scared to charge. Okay. Parties as well. Food in care groups occasionally is really good. Girls, you're good at that. The guys stink. We never have food in our care groups. And actually, kind of the funny thing was, when I was telling some of the teenagers about doing this stuff and being co-ed, they were like, does that mean we're going to get food in our group? So you might think about, on occasion, whatever you decide, once a month. Some of you might do it every week. Just tell the guys, say, hey guys, if you're a guy in this care group, bring in snacks next week, and we're all going to have snacks. Or if you're a girl, bring in snacks next week. Or bring $3, we're going to order pizza. I don't know, do whatever you want. Just find ways to be creative and bring that type of energy and fun into our kid groups. Actually, I should call them class groups now. Into our class groups. That's really the name of them. I think, okay, Elizabeth, this is another thing. Elizabeth Etner is going to handle all the communication. So let's say you want a little poster, you want a little card to hand out. Let's say Greg and Kelly, we'll keep using you as the example. You want to have the juniors, I don't even know who you're in charge of, the juniors over to your house. You can call up Elizabeth on the phone. Now, call her at the beginning of the week. Don't call her Friday. Call call her at the beginning of the week and say, hey, Elizabeth, we want to hand out a flyer this Sunday to our class, telling them that they can come to our house for pizza after groups. If you call her up and tell her what you want, she'll design it. She'll make it for you as long as you give her all the basic information. And we'll print them off and they'll be here waiting for you when you arrive. I guess the last couple things I want to say is we need to really push. We need to really push our kids to read through the New Testament this year. With the freshmen, I informed them, I was leading the freshmen last week. Am I going long? Eric's behind the camera going like this. Like, get it over with, Jed. How long has it been?
10.5 minutes.
10.5 minutes. Okay, so what I was saying was, what I want you to do is really push them. I told the freshmen, I'm not asking you to read the New Testament. I'm telling you, you are. And I really took a hard line. I'm just trying to say we're doing this together. So don't drop that. That is a weekly, continual push that we're going to do. Leaders, we need to stay on track. We need to be doing it. And let's make sure everyone in our classes are as well. You might be lucky that I forgot the second thing I wanted to say. It was important too. Hey, if you have any questions, shoot me back an email. Appreciate you taking the 11.5 minutes to watch this video, and hope it answers most of your questions. And we're going to figure it out as we go. There's a lot that's, I don't know how it's going to go. I think it's going to be really good. Oh, also on your activities, activity people, Greg and Kelly again for your class, take pictures. Take pictures. Shoot up a picture and we'll say, hey, look what the juniors did. They had an activity last Sunday night and it looks like they had a blast, and we'll show a 60-second video of what you did. So pictures, 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 and we're going to celebrate what the classes are doing, like we're going to celebrate Project 127 when you push your kids like mad as we stay the course and we do all we can to raise $100,000. Thanks for your help, guys. Hope you have a great weekend. Bye.